bets in for the primetime games, and that's what we do here on the drive-thru Monday through Friday here at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. And it's deliver live free sports picks for the games beginning at 7 p.m. Eastern Time and later. And to deliver those winners are professional handicappers over at Pick Dogs and Sports Chat Place. Let's take a peek at who's on the show with us here for today. All right, with us we got Chris Ruffolo. It's Wednesdays with Mitch. Dana Lang will sign in a little later in the hour. We got James Clark with us. We also have Rod Zawacky, Wayne Scott with us, and Big Al McMordie. And here's how they'll line up for this evening. We've got Ruffolo, Mitch, McMordie, Scott, Clark, Zawacky, Lane, and I will close this one out. All right, today we got a couple of baseball games in prime time. Say goodnight to the Tampa Bay Rays. Texas advances. Minnesota trying to do the same. We'll see how that one rolls here as that game is going on as we speak. 2 games from baseball in primetime. We also have a couple from college football in the primetime hour. We're also looking at some other sports as it's a light schedule. You know how we roll here on these Thursdays, so on these Wednesdays and Thursdays. Let's go ahead and bring in Chris Ruffolo. You'll catch him over at Pick Dog Spring. We'll bring Chris in right now, ready to start this Wednesday off with us here. So we get him in here in just a second. Ready to roll here with Chris Ruffolo. Chris, what's happening? You're on mute there, Chris. I know Guerrero got picked off and they had to watch your language.
Yeah, I know. See? Okay. You read my mind. I was just about to say I'm a little bit concerned about my Blue Jays right now. So I already had the Rays go down. That was a bit of a surprise. But, yeah, my Blue Jays are not looking
singing
good
the blues.
For the second year in a row.
Yes, singing the – and the question is, what will Manoah wear next year?
I think he'll be wearing this. I honestly think he'll be wearing this. I think that – it's one of those things where until I see him actually off the team, I'm just going to assume that he's still going to stick with Toronto. I don't think they're going to give up on him just yet. It doesn't look good right now, but again, there's still time to right the ship.
All right, still time to right ship, and here we go tonight. College football with Florida International, FIU, and New Mexico State here. See New Mexico State favorite here, 6.5, total 48.5.
Yeah, and coming into this one, Tony, I've been on FIU a couple times this year. I was on them against Liberty, and I thought maybe they would show up against Liberty, but Liberty kicked their teeth in on the road. And the fact of the matter is, I think Liberty, going to be enjoying their new digs in Conference USA. Probably going to be one of, if not the best team in that conference this season. But I still think FIU's getting a little bit disrespected here. I mean, look what Mike McIntyre has done. This is sort of what he's done over the course of his career. He goes from San Jose State early in the 2010s, turns them into a 10-win team. Goes to Colorado in the mid-2010s, turns Colorado into a 10-win team. Last year, took a FIU team that was, I would say, dead in the water, got them 4 wins, and all of a sudden they are 1 win away from matching their win total halfway through the season. I mean, this is an FIU team that's played well. Grayson James should have never been the starting quarterback. Now they switched to I'm trying to remember, Keon Jenkins. Yeah. And this FIU team has some life. And you look at FIU this season, 3-2 against the spread as an underdog with a pair of outright wins. They're 2-0 against the spread on the road this season. And I'm not laying points with a New Mexico State team that's got wins over a Western Illinois team that's one of the worst FCS teams in the country, and a New Mexico team that is just a stiff. I mean, this was how New Mexico State got to a bowl game last year. Outside of Liberty, they beat a bunch of stiffs on their way to a 7-win season. So I think there's value here with FIU plus the points. I'm going to look at FIU on the money line as well. I think that the Panthers are scrappy and they're battling hard. I think they at least cover with the points, but I'm going to put a little bit on that money line, plus 210, plus 215.
All right, we got Chris here, FIU plus 6.5 here against New Mexico State. That we have some data on some of these teams. As I look at some of the stats, I look at some of the defensive stats, and boy, there are some ugly numbers for some of these smaller schools here in passing defense. When you look at yards per completion, yards per pass attempt, you see some of these you see teams like Mexico State and FIU kind of struggling in that category. A lot of these secondaries get torched.
Yeah, and I will say my concern for FIU here is that New Mexico State likes to run the football. They have a top 25 rush offense, and FIU struggled to stop the run this season. But I think that with how much New Mexico State likes to run the ball, they play a very slow pace. All it takes is a couple scores from FIU to, all of a sudden make this a game where it might, points might be hard to come by just with how much clock New Mexico State's going to chew up, especially with the new clock rules. So I just think, FIU, they've, been able to pull it out in lesser spots. They were a double-digit dog against North Texas for whatever reason earlier this season. They hung 46 on the mean green. They snuck one out against UConn on the road. So, am I saying that FIU is a world beater? No, but I'm saying they're at least taking steps to get in the right direction. I think this line should be a lot closer to maybe a -2.5, -3, and 6.5. I think gives us some value.
Yeah, they can hang with teams in their quartile, right? That's kind of what you're looking at here. And also, too, the big play offenses. Some of the big plays, and this is what you're kind of looking for with dogs. FIU, big play offensively, passing game, 15.4 yards per completed pass, 8 yards per attempt. Yes, they played some of the lesser teams. They compiled that against lesser competition, but New Mexico State fits that role.
Yeah, and exactly. You look at, Diego, you mentioned quarterback play. Diego Pavia, quarterback for New Mexico State, he had the one really good game against West Illinois where he threw for 317 yards. But outside of that, he's been a guy who basically passes for 200 yards, and it's majority of run game for for New Mexico State. FIU, like I said, they found something with Keon Jenkins here. He's almost hit the 300-yard mark in 3 of his 4 games this season. I like you said, I like his big playability, and like I said, I think 6.5 just too many.
Yeah, the big plays, you can look terrible for 3 out of 4 drives. You make that big play, and you can cover spreads, especially in this type of level of college football. FIU plus 6.5 against New Mexico State. This one starts 9 p.m. Eastern time over on CBS Sports Network. All right, Chris, let's take a look over at Pick Dogs. Been for nice action. Of course, we got college football, some Major League Baseball in prime time. Head into a big weekend of sports here, right? NFL tomorrow, a lot of college football, baseball playoffs. I know we'll have a bye on Friday in playoffs, but here we go with the divisional series on the weekend. Good results to start college football. What do you have going on over at Pick Dogs Premium?
Well, Tony, I only got my $19 play, my college football platinum play for tonight, but this is a great time to hop on long term, especially the week. I think this is the one week where I felt the most locked in on the football card for college and NFL. So that week pass will get you all the football action. I think we're on day 1 of 50 straight days with at least one football game. So it's a great time of the year to take advantage of that long-term pass. We're going to have, obviously, MLB playoffs in there as well. So whether it's just with me or someone else part of the 2-for-1 or multi-capper promotion, check it out. Make sure you use that promo code PICK at checkout for 15% off your purchase. That's right, guys. Got more Chris Ruffolo over at Pick Dogs. You see the great results here. 521 units of profit in college football. Remember the promo code PICK at checkout. Save that 15% off. Just a reminder that if you get that 1-month pass, it covers the entire postseason in baseball, NBA, NHL. NHL begins next week. The NBA starts in about 3 weeks. Great time to get on board with these long-term passes. All right, Chris, as always, great having you show. Hear that success. We'll catch up with you again next week. But let everybody know we can catch you over on Pick Dogs. Very active on the channel with the morning shows as well as your video plays. And that, of course, home run props as well. Yeah, we're starting to shift away from the home run props just with the volatility of the playoffs. But we're moving on to hockey season. We're going to have an NHL rundown as well on the channel. Love all the daily plays as well. So, make sure you hop on. There's going to be more and more, content as we're getting bigger and better. And you want to make sure that you have those notifications on and make sure you're subscribed so that you get notified when the newest content drops. That's right, guys. You got to go with Chris and check him out here on the channel. Like and subscribe and set those notifications. All right, Chris, have a great night. We'll catch up with you next week. Sounds good, Tony. Thanks. You as well. Chris Ruffolo here on the Drive Thru. Let's continue on here on the show. Up next, let's catch him, Mitch. You'll catch him over at Pick Dogs Premium. Catch him in the morning shows here during the week and weekend. Bring him in right now. Mitch, what's happening?
Not much, Tony. Just listening to Chris talk. Not that I don't hear him enough every single day, but always like to hear what he has to say about college football. Yes, exactly. Of course, the first question is, where's Noah going to land next year? Will he be with the big club? It's a rough going here for these Blue Jays. I think some of these guys, change the scenery, and I really think that the Blue Jays are going to be really kicking themselves in this game here for sending Barrios to the showers early. I really didn't understand it. I mean, he walks Lewis, who has been hitting the cover off the ball. With no one on, I think it was the right thing to do in that situation. You bring a guy in, he basically walks the bases loaded, and he gives up the hit to Correa. It's a nightmare. Yeah, nightmare. Speaking of nightmare, we could see a sweep and have no games tomorrow and Friday. We're heading in that. It's starting to look that way. Yes, it is. But we'll get into college football here. SEC battle here with LSU and Missouri. We see LSU favored here on the road on Saturday. Total 64.5. Yeah, we're getting the better team favored at home in this game, and this is one of those games you just look at the point spread, the numbers, and the team, and you just say, "Wow, I understand LSU is a name brand." And as a Miami fan, when LSU took their second loss against against Ole Miss, which was really a horrible loss, a game where they were gifted a touchdown. The Ole Miss fans responding as they should, throwing bottles, cans, and anything else they could get their hands on at the referees when they even replayed it, and still gave LSU the touchdown with the guy's foot clearly out of bounds. I mean, it's like if you're not gonna overturn it, you're only gonna look bad. So maybe they should just do away with instant replay in certain games if that's the way they're gonna call it. But I tell you what, the Ole Miss fans should be ashamed of themselves for responding in this way. No, they should be ashamed of themselves for letting that call stand as it was. And, I think those refs deserve to be pelted with a lot more than that. And I think they should have been just fired right on the spot like they do to some of these coaches. But anyways, I think LSU, one of these prima donna programs with a prima donna head coach given the royal treatment. And all I could say after the game, the first thing that I said on our Sunday morning show was, I bet LSU is going to be still ranked ahead of Miami, my team, because that's just the treatment that they get by the press, the polls, and everybody else. And Brian Kelly, the same thing. A coach that's never won a big game, never won a game against a physical team, and a coach that continues to be treated like he's college football royalty, yet he doesn't have any hardware or jewelry to represent that he is on that level. And what he's up against here is a Missouri team with Eli Drinkowitz coaching this team. 40 years old, came over from App State, where he went 12-1 in his only year there at App State, won the Sun Belt convincingly, and really, did a great job there. And came over into Mizzou. He's building this program. They're buying what he's selling, and we're getting the better team here at home. Missouri, the way better defense. LSU, one of the worst defenses in the entire nation, allowing 31 points per game, 429.4 yards per game, while Missouri allowing just 20 points per game. And while LSU has one of the top offenses, this is all typical Brian Kelly crap that we're seeing here. Brian Kelly's offense, the top ranked in yards and points, and yards per game in the SEC, not top in points. But Missouri really not that far behind. And, it's one of those rare occasions where LSU doesn't have the best receiver on the field either. Burden for Missouri is the best receiver on the field, and he is so much of an improved player over what we saw last year. A lot of times we see these guys who play as freshmen come in and play at the college level, and they think that they're going to be able to do what they did in college, what they were able to do at the high school level when they were just so much better than everybody else, and they didn't really have to work as hard, and that everybody else was going to kind of be at that same level as the guys they played in high school. And then they find out the very rude awakening that, well, everybody is good in the SEC, so you're going to have to excel and try harder and put in the work. And now that Burden has put in the work, well, he is clearly the best player on the field every time he steps on at Missouri. And of course, you guys will be hearing about him, and he's taken in the first round of the NFL draft, and you all are fighting over him in your fantasy leagues. But the thing is, I think, once again, we're getting the better team. We're getting them at home. I think Missouri has a solid chance to win this one outright. I think they're a gift here at +5.5. In a game that LSU, they've been beaten to a pulp by the physical teams, and I think Missouri beats them to a pulp as well.
All right, Mitch here on Missouri +5.5 here against LSU. Mitch, back when we did the podcast back in the day, Brian Kelly was coaching the Cincinnati teams. This kind of reminds me of his coaching when he coached Cincinnati, winning all these shootout games, 44-41, getting by with offense with no defense, winning and won a lot of coin flip single score games, and that catapulted him over to Notre Dame. This is kind of reminding me a little bit of those Cincinnati days, but he's not getting the right. He's got on the wrong end of these high scoring games now. It evens out.
At Notre Dame, he had the excuse of the academics and the admissions department, but he's got no excuses here at LSU. He's just got a super soft defense. And I think, in the SEC, you have to have a good defense if you want to win, because everybody can play in the SEC and everybody can score. And I could see Missouri just hanging on to the ball, just pounding it right down LSU's throat here. I mean, they averaged over 300 yards, through the air, 150 yards on the ground. And if it comes down to special teams, I give Missouri a big edge in that as well, because I think LSU might have one of the worst special teams in the nation as well. So I think that there's just a big deficiency here. I like the Tigers, and I think Eli Drinkowitz, really one of the guys that doesn't get a lot of ink, but really one of the emerging superstar coaches in college football.
Yeah, that's right. All right, Mitch here on Missouri plus 5.5 here against LSU, noon Eastern time on Saturday. All right, Mitch, everybody know what's happening over at Pick Dogs. Of course, Sports Chat Place as well. Lots going on here as we're starting to see now that the sports starting to overlap here. NBA not too far away. Hockey coming back next week. And, of course, baseball playoffs.
I don't have all my lights on.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah. Fix that. Anyways, at Pick Dogs, what we've done is that most of the cappers now on the site have their own video segment. So a lot of the guys that you see on today's show, we have All Access with Big Al, plus a new product, an All Access product with Big Al that goes along with that. Al will probably tell you a little bit about that when he's on a little bit later in the show. We have Wayne, the Punch Dog, Scott.
That's good.
Doing boxing, which most of you that have seen this show or have seen Wayne on our weekend shows know that's really one of his first loves, is boxing. So it's a natural fit there. And I think when a guy where somebody loves the sport, knows the sport, the passion comes through. And I think that's what's always been the difference at Pick Dogs, that you're rarely going to see or never see our cappers talk about a 2% play and or 5% play. They're going to more be passionate about what they do, whether that be, someone like, myself who's passionate about hating or liking a specific team, or, someone like Al McMordie who's just passionate about handicapping itself. And is insulted by the phonies out there. So I just think that everybody has a different approach to it, but at Pick Dogs we kind of take the well-rounded approach, and we're kind of a site and a company for everyone. And it's like, I know not everybody's gonna like me, and I know not everybody's gonna like everybody, but there's just because you root for Jay against me, well, you're still rooting for someone at Pick Dogs. So I'm all good with it.
Very good, Mitch. All right, as always, great having you show here. Hope you have a great night, afternoon, and we'll catch up with you again next week.
Thanks, Tony. Thanks, everyone, for joining in. Everyone in our Pick Dogs family, we appreciate each and every one of you.
Exactly. Mitch here on the drive-thru. Let's continue on here with our show. Up next, let's go to Big Al McMordie. Catch him over at Pick Dog Stream. Of course, Al debuted a new video series here on Pick Dogs. We'll talk about that a little later on the show, but we'll go ahead and bring in Big Al McMordie right now. Got some college football to talk about here on today on a Wednesday, as we getting ready for this big weekend of action here, as all of these sports starting to overlap here. I know NBA preseason begins here on Friday, NHL next week, so lots happening here in the sports world, and we just got to find his cue here. Let's find Big Al McMordie to bring him in on the show. It won't be too long here now. We've got a lot of cappers. Here we go, Big Al. How you doing?
Pretty good. How are you doing, Tony?
Good, great. All right, here we go. MAC meets SEC here on Saturday as Western Michigan faces Mississippi State. We see the Mississippi State favorite here, minus 20.5. We see the total 56.5.
Yeah, the Bulldogs were blown out, understandably, 40-17 by the Crimson Tide last week. They were a 16.5-point underdog in that game. And that dropped Miss State to 0-3 straight up in ATS in SEC conference play. But the good news for the Bulldogs then is that for this Saturday game, it's going to be out of conference and playing a MAC foe in Western Michigan. The Bulldogs, as you mentioned, are a 20.5-point home favorite. I'm going to lay the wood, Tony, as NCAA favorites of 20 or more points. They've covered 60.5%, going all the way back to 1980, if they're off 3 or more losses. So that bodes well for the Bulldogs, as does the fact that Western Michigan is a miserable 1-12 ATS as non-conference underdogs going back to 2017. So I'm going to lay the points with Miss State.
All right, there goes Big Al here at Mississippi State here, laying the 20.5 here against the Western Michigan. Of course, a lot of these MAC teams, their focus there, as we do in a lot of these small conferences, their focus here is on conference play. It's interesting sometimes when we get these games that kind of that get in the way of the conferences for these small conferences. It's kind of difficult for them to get to compete for, because everything for them is about winning the conference title.
Oh, you could also look at it the other way. Everything about the SEC teams is, winning winning the SEC conference, but obviously Mississippi State's not going to do that this year. But it's kind of a weird scheduling thing to be playing this late, the non-conference game. But I like Mississippi State regardless.
All right, Big Al here and Mississippi State here, laying the 20.5 here against Western Michigan. This one have a start time, 8:40 Eastern time, SEC Network. All right, Big Al, let's take a look over at Pick Dogs for tonight's action. Of course, we do have baseball on the board with college football. NFL returns again tomorrow. more base. Hopefully some baseball playoffs tomorrow. Of course, we know divisional series begin next week on Saturday, Sunday, Monday. We start with the next series of baseball because Friday is an off day. Good start to NFL. What do you have going on over at Pick Dodge Premium?
Yesterday, I cashed the underdog Texas Rangers. Today, I've got one baseball play. It goes a little bit later. I've also got, if I can do some quick math, 19 football plays already posted for the week. Should have some more as well, but there's 19 up at Pick Dogs right now, so folks can get on board, join for the week, the month, or the year. And one of the plays that I'm featuring is my Big 12 Conference Game of the Year, Tony.
That's right, guys. You get on board with Big Al McMordie over at Pick Dogs Premium. Good start to NFL. Lots of action on the board with Big Al here with his plays. And of course, as he mentioned, the long-term passes will serve you well. The week, the month. Remember, the month overlaps a lot of sports here. This remainder of the baseball playoffs as well. And of course, all the football. Pick is the promo code. Save that 15% off. We have a multi-capper promotion where you can add cappers to a single package. Save on a long-term pass. Save even more money there. Great value there. All right, Big Al, as always, great having you show. Continue that success. We'll catch up with you next week. But we've seen a new video series up there for you, Big Al.
Yeah, we're doing the Big Al All Access Club. Eric from the Don Club and I are working on this, and we've had a tremendous response. So thanks a lot to all who've joined so far. What we're doing, we're going a little bit deeper than the premium picks. You can get access to my information 24/7. So if you come home from work and there's a game that's not on our card that you want an opinion on, you can ask us. We're going to give you the play that we like for that game. If you want me to do research for any kind of question you have with handicap, if you want to find out how the New England Patriots do as a road underdog off a loss or whatever, you can call and I'll get you the information. So it's all access. It's 24/7, and all the plays are ranked. So if I've got, for example, 13 college football plays on this Saturday, I'll rank them 1 through 13, so you know which plays are the best. If you want to put the top 3 in a round robin or a parlay, you can do it. And it's not for everybody, of course, but for those who, are bigger players and want to get involved, they can text Big Al to 775-636-7676, and we'll take care of you.
Yeah, okay, hold up. Big Al, text the Big Al the number there and go ahead and get signed up. All right, Big Al, have yourself a great weekend, and we'll catch up. Actually, we'll catch up with you again tomorrow.
I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Getting ahead of myself. We'll catch up with you again tomorrow.
Hopefully there's some base. I think that the next time Toronto gets a hit with runners in scoring position, it'll be their first.
That will be. It will be. It's been a rough one there.
Pathetic.
Yes.
I'll talk to you tomorrow.
You got it. Big Al McMordie here on the drive-thru. Guys, if you ever come in late to a show, we also always recap the picks at the end. Stay tuned for that. Let's continue on here on the drive-thru. Wayne Scott up next. Catch him over at Pick Dogs Premium. The Punch Dog, I like that name. He covers boxing over on the channel. Let's bring him in right now. Wayne, what's happening?
What's going on, Tony? What's going on, Pick Dog family? Hope everybody doing good out there today.
Everything's going great. All right, Wayne, as we know here on Wednesdays, Thursdays, with the limited schedule right now until we get to the NBA and NHL, we will look into some season win totals. And of course, Wayne finished with a winning record in the NBA last year. That's all regular season and playoff combined. Gave you a huge dog winner with Germany in the FIBA World Cup. Wayne has been on it, man, in basketball, not only in NBA, FIBA. So we're getting ready here for the NBA. And of course, a great time to talk season win totals. You got one for us today.
Yes, sir. We're going to look at the Detroit Pistons, man. I know a lot of going for what they did last year, only 17 wins last season. But I believe a lot of these lower echelon teams are closing the gaps, man. I believe this will be a very competitive NBA season. You'll start to see some of these bottom teams come up. Their win was at 28.5, and I believe that's a 10 to 11 game jump, and I believe it's that high for a reason. I see them at about 30 wins, man. I see them going over this. They get Cade Cunningham back. Cade Cunningham, he was in the summer select team this season, and that means he was on one of the people chosen to play against the USA team. And they say he was the best player on the floor, man. And I'm a high believer in Cade Cunningham, but it's not just Cade Cunningham. I like this team in general. I like Ivy, who they got paired up with Cade Cunningham, make it coming in his second season after having an outstanding season by himself last season. I love the draft pick with the Thompson brother. I love their front court as well. Adding Wiseman and Bagley, I believe both of them played very good towards the end of the season last year. A high player that a lot of people sought out was Bogdanovich. They ended up retaining Bogdanovich. So front court looking solid, back court looking solid. That addition of Joe Harris, somebody who played very good for the Nets, somebody I love. If this team stays healthy, look out, man. I definitely see them going over this 28 wins that they're set at. This is a tough team. I didn't mention their power forwards. I love Jalen Duren, very tough player. Isaiah Stewart, very tough player. No, this is not the old Pistons that they really used to beat up on you, but it looks like they're starting to build this team with the front court, man. These are some tough guys that they have, and not only are they tough, they're traditional rebounders with scoring, and they're going to bring a lot of defense with offense coming from their guards. I believe we see over 28.5 wins with this Pistons team this season.
All right, Wayne says Pistons over 28.5 wins. That's a move in the right direction. That probably won't stiff the playoffs, but it's still maybe, I would say in contention, but it's actually a move in the right direction for a team that's really hit hard times. It's hard to lure free agents when you don't have really good success. You need some building blocks over there.
Yes, sir, and they're starting to build it. They've got Monty Williams, and it's going to really be on him to provide some good coaches, because he got some nice young pieces, man. I love the guard combination with Ivy, Cade, and you got somebody young and explosive like Thompson coming off the bench. I love the shooting, like I said, bringing in Joe Harris and Bogdanovich, and I like their big man. I know we're going to a league where big men are starting to be extinct, but Bagley and Wiseman, two tough guys, two solid rebounders, and two good defensive pieces that help you if these front court guys can't defend as well. So I just love the way this program is going. And 28.5 wins, I definitely can see them at 30-31. Like you said, they probably won't make the playoffs. They're a little bit out of the range of being a contender, but I think this is a lot better team than we'll see with Cade Cunningham coming back. He'll be a true star. He'll show people early in the season, man. That guy's for real.
Yeah, and that's where it kind of gets a little tricky here when you get to that 28.5 number, because usually the teams vying for playoff positions are going to be 40s. Sometimes you get those under 500 teams, but if you're going to be sitting in that range, you always have to worry about the possibility of tanking. But for a team like this that has already accumulated players, there's no reason to tank. You want a winning culture now. I know a team that is, when you got teams that are dismantling veterans, it's a different situation. You understand the tanking, but when you're developing a team and developing a culture, Monty Williams not going to go over there if you're going to tank this season. The team, I don't see them trying to play for a high round draft pick when they already have a lot of young players already around them. They could probably get some more role players. Probably veterans is what they need more than young guys.
I feel you, Tony. You hit it right on the head, man. Add a couple veterans with these guys, and definitely no reason for them to tank, man. They have the young pieces. They have the early draft picks on this team. They even acquired some early draft picks that were let go from some teams. So everything that I seen from this team is pointing them in a winning direction for me this season. Barring injury, as long as they can stay healthy, I just think that this 28.5 is a gift. From them to only win 17 games, and for the books to have them at 28.5 shows that the books even feel like they're going to make a traumatic improvement this season.
Yeah, we saw that with Orlando, right? Orlando's a team that seems to be in that spot. Maybe they'll be like Orlando. Oh, we got to keep our mouth shut with them, huh? All right, I know what you're saying. Hey, one of those sneaky dogs. One of those sneaky dogs that may come out barking to start the season, and we've covered them in detail with Orlando. They just got to have guys healthy, because they've had like 5-6 guys at a time, impact players on the injury report the last 2-3 seasons, and it's time that they get them on the court healthy, because when they're healthy, they're dangerous, and we'll see.
This is the first season where everybody comes in healthy. They just reported the training camps. A lot of articles and stuff been coming out, and head coach says that everybody is on full go. Isaac is back on full go. We got a team full of first round draft picks, man, from Franz to Suggs to Paolo to Isaac, from Wendell Carter, Markelle Fultz. We have a team full of first round draft picks, and everybody is healthy. This team's going to be scary, man. I'll talk a little bit more about them. I got a couple free plays that I already betted. and that I will be giving out later in the later weeks, and just trying to point out a couple things about a couple other teams that I like coming into the season.
Yeah, I remember last year when we started the season, they started with 4 rotational players on the injury report. I couldn't believe it. I said, what the heck's going on here, bro? We haven't even started the season, and we got numerous guys here. And that team has been hit hard. It's a lower profile team. Only guys like us pay attention to it. But man, no team's been as hit harder in injury than this Orlando team. But we're looking at the Pistons today, over 28.5 wins. No reason to tank. They don't need any more draft picks. They got the guys. They just need to start developing a winning culture and start adding some veterans to help them out. All right, Wayne. That's the play tonight from Wayne Scott. All right, Wayne, let us know what's happened over at Pick Dodge Pimp. Of course, Wayne's put up great units production here in baseball this year, nearly 1,600 units of profit in Major League Baseball, 2 games in primetime, 2 colleges. Hopefully some more baseball tomorrow. We'll see how it goes here, as well as football. What do you have going over at Pick Dodge Premium?
Man, after a 4-game winning streak with baseball, been smoking high. I did drop my best bet of the day with the Rays, man. Shout out to Texas, man. They came out and they did their thing. They did what they're supposed to do. And I still got my best bet in college football today. And I love that bet the most today. So you guys want to hop on it, go to the site, hop on it with me, and let's cash, man. Just looking to continue to stack these wins. I have my bet of the day out ready for tomorrow's college football game, too. I had that since Monday. Absolutely love that play as well. So if you want these plays early, always get on that 3-day, 7-day, or 30-day pass, and you'll get these plays immediately as they are dropped. And stay ahead of the game, stay ahead of the curve, and stay ahead of these lines that move. Let's cash.
It's cash indeed, guys. You got both Wayne Scott over at Pick.com. Great results here in baseball. I will let you know the 30-day All Sports Pass will include the entire remainder of the postseason all the way to the end of the World Series. This will take you over to November 2nd. Baseball is done by November 1st. So that's what, if there's a Game 7 in the World Series, so you're covered for the entire remainder of the playoffs. All the NBA, which begins now in 2.5 weeks. Hockey starts next week because we know Wayne likes to gives you some plays on ice, and all the football with that 1-month pass. All right, Wayne, as always, great having you show. Continue that great success. We'll catch up with you again tomorrow. But of course, they're calling you the Punch Dog right now. You got the video series in boxing.
Yes, sir. That's actually uploading and getting sent over there right now. So you guys should see that either tonight or tomorrow morning by the latest. So about a day later than I wanted to have it out there, but it will be out there. So I'm on another underdog. Cashed the big dog on last card, and I think there's great value on the main event on the dog in this one. So stay tuned, catch on that, and let's keep hitting these boxing picks as well.
That's right, guys. Make sure you like, subscribe, and set notifications so when Wayne drops those boxing videos, those picks, you get them right away. He has scored on some pretty big dogs last week, so you don't want to miss on those. All right, Wayne, continue that great success, and we'll catch up with you again on tomorrow's show.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you for having me, Tony T. Good luck on your bets out there, Pick Dog family. Catch y'all tomorrow.
Okay, tomorrow, Wayne Scott here on the drive-thru. Guys, if you ever sign in late, catch us late on the show. We recap at the end. Stay tuned for that. Let's continue on here on the drive-thru. We got filling in today will be, let's see, we've got James Clark. Catch him over at Pick Dodge Pim. James put up some solid numbers here in baseball this year. We'll bring James in right now over in the Skype world. Let's find James. Ready to roll here with James. James, what's happening?
Not much, Tony. How you doing, buddy?
Doing great. All right, here we go. Again, it's limited card. We're going to continue. We're going to cover some college football here for Saturday as Marshall goes on the road to face NC State. As expected, I expected, Brennan Armstrong has been benched. It was no surprise to me. But anyway, NC State laying 6.5 at home, total 45.5.
Yeah, guys, you look at these two teams and, you look at the records, you'd say, the wrong team's favorite underdogs here, and I think so too. I think I like Marshall in this game. I think Marshall goes to Raleigh, North Carolina, and I think they hang with North Carolina State. And then at the end, I think Marshall gets a late field goal, late touchdown. I look for the game to be close. But, the Marshall's West Virginia's little brother, and, we're coming off a big win last week against TCU, and I look for Marshall to, like I said, go down to Raleigh and get a big win. And, plus 200 on the money line with a good Marshall team. They start slow, But third and fourth quarter they pick it up, and that's usually when they tearing teams up is in the second half, and that's what I look for here. I look for Marshall, the second half team, hang close with NC State and win it here late in Raleigh.
All right, we got James here on record here. It says money line it here with Marshall. Marshall, an undefeated team. Actually, no, they are this year straight up 4-0 this year for this Thundering Herd. They do have a win against Virginia Tech at home by 7. East Carolina, they pounded. They got past Old Dominion, although they gave up 35 there. But we're seeing at least offensive production there from Marshall. Of course, we did see Louisville drop that. The NC State dropped that game to Louisville. Louisville with that second half comeback, but Brennan Armstrong just wasn't getting the job done. He hits the bench.
Yeah, he does, and he should have. They probably should have benched him earlier in the year, but after that Louisville game, you only put up 10 points. You know what I mean? So a good time to bench him. Which Louisville's got a good defense. It was a good game. I thought they had the game. And then they, like you said, second half they let Louisville come back in it, and you can't let this Marshall explosion offense get in this game, because Marshall, they did get up a lot of points against Old Dominion, but Marshall's got a pretty solid defense, and they got an explosive offense, and that's what I like about this game. I know they're not, we're not far from each other, Raleigh and West Virginia, and North Carolina and West Virginia, we're not far from each other, so good big rivalry game, and I look for Marshall to go down there and get a big win and go 5-0, guys.
Yeah, and don't forget here, what NC State was built on defense. The defense has totally collapsed this year. When you look at their passing defense, giving up 322 yards a game, which is pretty rough there. NC State was built on defense.
Yeah, they was built on defense, and like you said, they've been struggling in the past game, and that's a big thing for Marshall. Marshall putting up almost 500 yards a game, on the ground and in the air, and this Marshall team can do it, and I think they can do it. In Raleigh, I really like this game. I'm definitely betting. If I wasn't going to bet, I wouldn't give it out to y'all guys. So I'm definitely betting. I'm betting the money line in +6. Betting it the same. So I really think Marshall wins it and comes back to West Virginia happy.
There you go, Marshall +2.5 here, +215 money line to win straight up here against NC State, 2 p.m. Eastern time. ACC Network. All right, James, let's take a look over at Pick.com for tonight's action. Let's get to the Skype record here. Great results in baseball. 1,429 units of profit for James over at Pick.com. 2 on the board for Major League Baseball. Baseball playoffs continue either tomorrow or Saturday as we get to the Division Series. Lots of football as well on the board coming up. What do you have going on over at Pick.com Premium?
I got one play on the board, guys. It's my MLB 10-star easy winner, a play that I really love in the MLB, and I think that'll win. $20. Go grab it, guys. And after we cash from that, guys, I've been pretty hot in college football, looking to keep that rolling this weekend. +600 right now. Unit winnings, looking to add on that in college football. So, look, get us a 3-day, get you a week or a month, and after that, guys, like I say every time we're on the show, we got the best cappers in the world, and we do by far. So team me up with any of the cappers that you've seen on the show or it's on the site. We'll put some money in your pockets, guys.
That's right, guys. Got aboard with James Clark over at Pick.com. Great results in baseball. That 1 month pass gets you the remainder of the playoffs in Major League Baseball, as well as all the football. All the NBA. NBA starts in a couple of weeks. NHL next week. So get on board. 1 month pass. Pick as a promo code. Save that 15% off. All right, James, as always, great having your show. Get you back on the Skype world over here. I hope everything goes well for you. And we'll catch up with you again on Friday.
All right, Tony. I can't wait for this NBA season to start. So I'm excited. About 21 days out. So
that's right.
Thanks for having me on the show, Tony, and I'll see you Friday, buddy.
See you Friday. James Clark here on the drive-thru. That's right. 3 weeks from today, it'll be a 12-game NBA card. They begin with 3 weeks from yesterday. We'll have the NBA getting to go here. So looking forward to that. They start with 2. Then on the following Wednesday, there'll be 13 games on the board. Let's continue on here on the drive-thru. Time for Zawacky. Catch him over at Pick Dogs Premium. He's been very good to us here on the show. We'll get him in here in just a second as we begin our baseball coverage here in the playoffs. Let's get him in here. I think we're all set to roll here with Rod Zawacky as we get him back here in the system. Here we go with Rod. Rod, what's going on? You're on mute there, Rod. I know you're trying to watch your language watching that Blue Jays game.
I was going some story like Chris on Guerrero getting himself picked off at second base. I don't know what he was thinking, why he was even edging off. It's Guerrero. How much extra step are you going to get with him kind of leading off? It's not going to make a big difference. Not the fastest runner. He should have just kept himself safe.
Yeah, sometimes some of those wild games.
It's just like yesterday and Bo Bichette running home. What's he doing, man?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Like, seriously, you're dead in your tracks. Not even close.
Yeah,
the guy's waiting for you. Like,
it's rough here. It's kind of a rough here down to the final few outs here. Then when you get down to single digits, that's when it gets nerve-wracking there. But tonight, Rod, we're going to be looking here at as we get into baseball for tonight. Make sure we got the right one. Yeah, we got the D-backs and the Brewers going head-to-head tonight here, top of the hour. We see the Brewers favored $1.33 with a total of 7.5.
Yeah, Brewers are favored in this one. You know what? I like the pitchers duel we got going in this one. We got Zach Allen getting the start for the Diamondbacks. And he's been serviceable on the road, but he has pitched his best at home. But I think he steps up in the spot and has a solid outing. In his last 5, he's got a sub-3 ERA. And Freddie Peralta on the other side for the Brewers getting the start on the bump. And he's been pitching well his last 3 as well. Sub-3 ERA over his last 5 starts. So I like the pitchers duel early in this one. Both of these pitchers probably go about 5-6 innings, and then when you throw it to the bullpens, both these bullpens have been solid over the last 10. Both bullpens sub-3 ERA as well. And then offensively, you look, and Arizona's averaging about 3.7 runs per 9 innings, where the Brewers averaging 3.8 runs per 9 innings, and we're looking at a total of about 7.5. I think we come in underneath this 7.5. It would have come in under the total yesterday, so we got Arizona got a couple late in that game to make it 6-3. But other than that, I don't think so. Not in this one. This is a do or die for the Brewers, and all hands on deck. So we're gonna take the under 7.5 as runs come at premium in this game.
All right, Rod says go under 7.5 here. Brewers and the Diamondbacks. ESPN2 will have this one. Yeah. You know, it's always about the offense with this Brewers team. And, it's funny because I looked at their inactives. They made my namesake, Rowdy Tellez, inactive in this series. So what were they doing? They're bringing guys up from the minors.
That made no sense to me. Why did you inactive Rowdy Tellez? Why? Because he strikes out a bit more often than he should. Sure, he does. But he steps up in this spot. He's been there, done that. And that power in his bat, one swing, and next thing you know, it's 3-0. So that makes no sense to me why you do that. So there's the lack of offense there for the Brewers, as we've seen. The Brewers do what the Jays did yesterday. They had bases loaded twice and didn't get that clutch hit to bring the guys home. So I like the under here. Same thing as what we got. Both pitchers come in and duel in this one, and we get a low scoring one. In
this series, you got Fad, you got Gallen, and if necessary, you have Kelly. They're all right-handers. so you bench a lefty.
Yeah. It's tough for the Brewers. I think the first of 3 wins this game. Whoever gets to 3 first wins this ball game. If we even get to 3, this could be 2-1.
Yeah, it could be one of those really. Again, it's an elimination game. It could be one of those tight. Those Brewers teams play these tight games here, under 7.5 here. This one to have a start time 7 p.m. Eastern time. All right, Rod, let's take a look over at Pick Dodgement for tonight's action. Of course, we have baseball on the board as well as college football. Heading into a huge weekend of baseball and football. What do you have going over at Pick Dodgement? Rod's been red hot on the board, 762 units of profit last 30 days.
And going tonight, I got my 10-star play of the day going tonight. I also have 2 MLB plays left tonight. 1 for long-term subscribers, 1 my 10-star play of the day. And we've been rolling along in it. We've hit 72 wins, 50 losses, and 1 tie over the last 123 days on it. So jump aboard, scoop it up, $19. I also got my college football Thursday executive info play up for tomorrow's college football action. Love that. I've also got 3 plays in there for college football already. 4 plays for the NFL. Definitely going to add some more. So now's the time to grab something long term. join me as I have definitely a loaded card of action for the rest of the week. So use that promo code PICK and check out, jump aboard, grab a 7-day pass, or pair me up with one of the other hot handicappers as well. 2 heads always better than 1, and use that, take advantage of the 2-for-1 capper deal. But let's continue to crush the bookies in football. I'm excited. Just think we got 50 consecutive days of football going now, Tony. No breaks from football for the next 50 days, all the way right into way into the middle of November sometime before we see a break from football. We'll have football on Tuesdays, return to college football Tuesdays.
That's right.
From now right on through, we'll have college. We'll have either a college football or an NFL game for the next 50 days of football. So
that's right. No longer just MACtion, Conference USA, Sun Belt playing these games during the week. So they're jumping in now. The Wednesdays, if we provide fill up that schedule, because we're getting more of these FBS teams coming in, and these smaller conference schools, they get lost in the shuffle when they have to go against the big boys. So it's tough. You see these MAC games that kick off at 2 Eastern time. I'm thinking, man, what, you guys just play on the weekends. Just run, be a Tuesday, Wednesday league. You know what I mean? Why not?
Yeah, exactly. We like Tuesday, Wednesday football games. We're fine with that. We like Tuesday, Wednesday football games. Definitely.
See, no reason why. Just MAC Tuesdays. Just play your games then, because no one's going to watch you guys on Saturdays at 2 Eastern time. That's just a funky time. No.
Hey, it's a funky time for MACtion.
Yeah.
It used to be Thursday was MACtion, all loaded with MACtion, and then Friday was the collegiate schools, like the bigger one,
ACC, Pac-12,
Penn State, and
Big Ten.
It used to be
Stanford, Cal,
Stanford,
Oregon State.
It was always like the collegiate Friday, on Fridays. Friday nights was always that, but it was always MACtion. On Wednesdays and Thursdays it was MACtion.
It's always MACtions. It always is. But I guess, you got these other schools that want the TV spotlight, so you can't blame them. All right, Rod, have yourself a great night. We'll catch up with you again on Steak Friday.
You as well, Tony. Hey, a little bonus bet for you.
There you go.
Columbus Blue Jackets take them tonight in hockey. Also, take the over, Oilers versus Calgary. The Oilers are basically starting. This is a dress rehearsal. They have all their top guys going. Calgary has not even their top 6 guys going in this game. It's going to be pretty ugly. Take the over 6.5. Oilers win in a rout over the Flames in this one tonight.
There you go. Get that time. We start on Tuesday. We're winding down preseason. There's some great information from Rod. All right, Rod, take it easy. We'll catch up with you Friday.
Have yourself a good night, everybody. Take care. Catch you on Friday.
Catch you Friday. Rod Zawacky here on the Drive-Thru. All right, let's continue on here on the show. Dana Lane is up next. Catch him over at Pick Dog Sprint. We'll bring him in right now. Of course, hope you guys are catching this video series as well here on the site. We'll bring Dana in here, ready to roll here with some coverage from Dana. Dana, ready to roll here. Dana, what's happening?
Hey, Tony, how you doing?
Everything's going great. All right, here we go tonight. At the 8 Eastern time, Marlins and Phillies going head-to-head here. We see the Phillies big favorites here, minus 144. The total sits at 8.
Yeah, I'm kind of enjoying these couple days where there's only a little bit of sports, because we see tomorrow that the NBA starts the exhibition season, and then the 10th is the NHL. So, yes, I'm happy to be focused on a few baseball games, but we saw early in the daytime, 86% of this of the money has come in on the over 7.5 minus 20, and I thought that was going to change a little bit, but the betting public really does like the over. It's at 86% right now. The number hasn't budged at all, but that's not abnormal. But I can understand the thinking, and I try to understand the psychology that goes behind that. And normally, when you got a guy like Aaron Nola on the mound, you see a lot of under wagers. But the truth about Aaron Nola is his ERA this year was close to 4.5. He wasn't very good down the stretch. His last 2 outings were okay. The one against the Pirates was particularly good, and that's the one I'm going to kind of lean on heading into this game. And I know it was against the Pirates, but if you watch the Pirates this year, Tony, and especially down the stretch, this was not a team that quit. This was a team that played hard right up until the end, which is a reflection of where Derek Shelton's team is for next year. But I think we're going to be able to lean on Nola one more time in this game. I really like when I get veteran pitchers in the postseason, regardless of what they did in the regular season. I think it's where they hit the reset button. They say, look, I've been in this league for 9 years. I know this environment, and I'm going to thrive in this environment. So I don't take what he did in the regular season to heart as much as maybe some other players or other bettors. We look at what happened yesterday in the game, and I really thought we were going to see a lot of runs because down the stretch, Tony, we saw guys like Kyle Schwarber, who was non-existent for most of the year. We saw Bryce Harper and Trey Turner all get on this home run kick, and I thought, wow, this is going to maybe spill into postseason, but it didn't. And we saw only one crooked number yesterday, and that was the 2 runs that they scored in the 4th inning. So I do like the under in this game. I know that the public is, according to my Against the Public show, this is one that we definitely didn't have to look hard to find because the public's on a definitive position here. But I think we're going to go under the total on this as well.
All right, Dana says go under total here of 8 here, Phillies and the Marlins. Looks like Garrett to get the start here for Miami here to face that Phillies lineup. All the left-hander did put up some pretty good numbers this year.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people probably wouldn't. I mean, if you went through, guys that say, hey, what's who in the Major League Baseball right now is kind of your top guys? I mean, guys that you think are the cornerstone of the franchise. I think it would be. I think you go a long way before somebody mentioned Braxton Garrett, and Braxton Garrett's been absolutely fantastic. If you look at his numbers over his last 5 starts, one of those starts, which was his last one, he allowed more than 1 earned run. But before that, I think he went 4 or 5 starts before that, allowing less than 1 earned run. So he's absolutely peaking. We're going to throw out that last start, but he's been fantastic for the Fish this year, and I think that. This is another a guy, and public perception so much has everything to do with the way that the money flows, and I think people have lost they've lost their confidence in Nola. I don't think people know how good Braxton has been this year. I think that's a combination of people thinking that this has gone over, and even when you said it's at 8, obviously I've had it at 7.5, I think, most of the day, and then I saw it 8 late, so. That number had been pushed up a little bit. So I just, for me, I think you're going, in the postseason, I tend to go against what I think is going to be the norm, just like today. I love Minnesota on the run line. Got the earlier game with Texas, hopefully having a big day today, because I just knew the public was going to push Tampa Bay up. They were going to push Toronto up, teams that needed to win. And I think this is going to be a situation where you're just not going to see the amount of runs that people anticipate based upon the way that the Phillies ended their season.
All right, there we go here with Dana going here with Marlins Phillies under 8. This one to have a start time 8 p.m. Eastern time on ESPN. All right, Dana, let's take a look over at Pick Dodge for tonight's action. Of course, Dana put up a good start to college football. We got 2 on the board from college football, heading into a big weekend of NFL and college football as well. Crossing our fingers that there's baseball tomorrow. We'll see how that rolls. Or else we're going to be waiting for the divisional series coming up here. What do you have gone over at Pick Dogs Premium?
Well, of course, we were involved in both college football games tonight. Side in total, those are up right now, as is the Philadelphia Miami game is up there. You can get involved in. But I also put a package up this week, Tony, where you can get every single one of my baseball plays for $149.99. So it can start today. Philadelphia in Miami, and then it goes all the way through the World Series. People seem to be jumping on that. So one price, $149.99, which is a massive discount off of getting these games individually. And of course, tonight we'll have college football up there, and we'll see what the baseball schedule has. But we try to have those games up before midnight, the day before, so you can dig into those and get the best numbers. And tonight will be no different.
That's right, guys. Get on board with Dana Lane over at Pick Dogs. Get on board with Dana right now. So you can see a good start here in college football action up there from Dana with a bookie buster up there for college football. Individual games up there as well from Dana. But as he mentioned, go long term to save money. He's got the baseball pass up now. We're going to go to baseball till early November. Get every play until the final pitch of the World Series. Affordably priced right now up there. Remember, you can take 15% off when you use the promo code PICK at checkout there with Dana's Major League Baseball postseason pass. Great value right now. So go ahead and get signed up. All right, Dana, as always, great having your show. Continue that success. We'll catch up with you again next week. But let everybody know about your video series over at Pick Dogs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's been great. It's been going on for a couple of weeks now. We're about 65 or 68% winners off the top of my head. So good start on that. It's called Against the Public, and basically every morning I comb through games where I see where the public is betting. We try to point people in a different direction. Some days it's difficult because you only have a few games, and you got to at least give 3 games. It's kind of my own personal rule, but other days when you have a bigger schedule, you can really dive into some numbers that you think are wrong. So those will be up every morning, and we will definitely try to get those up. The other day where we just had a game, we had the Monday night game. We didn't put a video up then, but for the most part, we'll have them up every single day, including Saturday and Sunday, where I cover college football and the NFL.
That's right, guys. Check out Dana with his video series up there against the public betting there. Make sure you like, subscribe, and set notifications. And when Dana's video drops, you get it right away. Get the best numbers. All right, Dana, have a great rest of the week. We'll catch up with you again next week.
You too, Tony. Continued success in college football for you. You're killing it.
Thank you very much. Dana Lane here on the drive-thru. All right, let's continue on here on the show, guys. If you missed a pick, we'll recap at the end of the show. Stay tuned for that. Let's continue on here on the drive-thru. And I'm up next here with college football, so we'll get you one from college football, and then we'll get to the recap. When I starts in about an hour. So did the baseball from Dana. So let's go ahead and roll that. Actually, let's see. What do we got here tonight? We do have a game top of the hour, so let's get to the recap first. All right, Chris was on FIU here, plus the 6.5 against New Mexico State. Mitch said Missouri plus 5.5 against LSU. Al McMordie, Mississippi State, minus 20.5 against Western Michigan. Wayne liked the Detroit Pistons over 28.5 wins. James says Marshall plus 215 money line against NC State. Broad was on Brewers D-backs under 7.5. Dana was on Marlins Phillies under 8 in that game tonight. And of course, I'll be on Middle Tennessee State laying the 3 here against Jacksonville State. Let's get back to that game if we could here. We will put up the pick for you on this one. Mid Tennessee State laying the 3.5 here against Jacksonville State. Jacksonville State was a FCS team last year. This is their first year here playing FBS competition. And really, when you kind of look at the schedule they have played a relatively weak schedule thus far. Nothing against them. It's just the fact that's the way it rolls. Rich Rod's team, I don't think I think this, now that you're kind of stepping up into class a little bit here, you're going to see. I think you're going to see the difference. Jacksonville State's team that's had good running game, but very inefficient in the passing department. Middle Tennessee State defended the run well against Missouri and Colorado State. Jacksonville State played nobody at this caliber on their schedule. When you look here at Middle Tennessee State, they averaged 4.2 yards per run this year. They did move the football through the air on Missouri and Colorado State and Western Kentucky. Jacksonville State didn't even play a team the caliber of Western Kentucky this year. So you're kind of looking there at schedule strength. Let's kind of go over Jacksonville State, the Gamecocks teams they faced this year. Obviously, they got that win against a very down UTEP team. This UTEP team is nowhere near where they were before last year. Here are the teams they faced here. They faced UTEP. They beat East Tennessee State, an FCS team. Coastal Carolina on the road loses by 14. Eastern Michigan wins 28-0. But this is the game that kind of concerns me. They were 28-28 tie at the end of regulation. Sam Houston State's a team that can't score. I mean, they were averaging single-digit scoring. You're going to tell me here that you're going to, Middle Tennessee State, I think, is a little better program than Sam Houston State. And here's the thing that's troubling here. Jacksonville State in that game gave up 435 yards to the Sam Houston State that couldn't move or score an inch on anybody. So that's concerning there. We'll go with Middle Tennessee State. Take a look at who they've played this year. They faced Alabama and Missouri on the road. I know they pounded Missouri State. They faced Colorado State, a respectable mid-major team. Matter of fact, they caught Colorado State right after their game against Colorado, and they just finished facing Western Kentucky. So to me, it's definitely the schedule strength here a little higher here, definitely with Middle Tennessee State. So we'll lay them here 3 here against Jacksonville State tonight at 8 Eastern time over on ESPNU. That will be the play from an opener of 3.5 to 3. So that's how we'll look at this one. All right, guys over at Pick Dogs, I have a best bet right now in Major League Baseball, so go ahead and get signed up. You can also get on board with my long-term passes. I have a 3, 7, or 30-day all-sports pass. Get all my premium plays for that time period to select. When you go to my handicapper page and you make that purchase, pick as a promo code, you'll save 15% off at checkout. We have a multi-capper promotion, so you can add multiple cappers, save even more money. All right, let's continue on. We got to the recap, so we're going to go ahead and sign you off right now. Just a reminder, this concludes this edition here of The Drive-Thru. Make sure you guys tune in again tomorrow live at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll do it all over again We'll bring in our cappers from Pick Dogs and Sports Chat Place. They'll go after plays in prime time. We know we have college football, 2 on the board. We know we have an NFL game. We're not sure about baseball. We got if there's a game 3 necessary, we'll have it for you here on the show. I'll also have some coverage for you. But as always, we'll find other things to cover: NBA season win totals, NHL win totals. Of course, when we get some boxing, UFC, guys, tune in on Thursday. We'll have some picks for you there because we know we have 3 football games, 1 NFL, 2 college football. We maybe can get some player props in there for you, but we'll make sure we'll have a good show for you guys. So make sure you tune in tomorrow on the show, and make sure you set those notifications so when we're live, you're live with us. Get the plays in real time. All right, before we let you go, let you know about all the video series. Morning show, 10:30 a.m. Eastern time during the week. You got Mitch, Jay, and Chris. Of course, Mitch's 7 picks in 5 minutes. His betting tools show. Of course, his professional roundtable is up there. Chris with his picks. Chris is getting ready for the NHL rundown, which debuts next Tuesday. And of course, Jay's NFL rundown, Jay's NFL live show today. Big Al and Mitch on there with him. Check that out as well if you would. Also, college football show up there. Romanelli, Chris, and Mitch. Romanelli with his MLB rundown, college football rundown. And of course, we got your feast here from our man Nick Menken. Props with Mills, his UFC rundown as well. The boxing rundown here, the boxing video series here from Wayne. A lot of content up here. We got the public betting content from our man Dana Lane. Big Al McMordie with his plays as well as new video series up on the board. Big Al's Access from Big Al, just to name a few up here. Lots of video series, guys, so make sure you like, subscribe, and set those notifications when they're out there. All right, that's going to do it here for the show. Let's bring in our cappers from tonight's show. Going to wave goodbye, guys. You guys have a great afternoon.